Welcome to An American Homestead, podcasting live from deep within the Ozark Mountains at an elevation of 2,200 feet. It's 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, and it's good to be back. Have a great stack of stuff for you again tonight. This is the Late Late Show on the HomesteadNetwork.com. A great place for you to check out for finding all kinds of homesteading channels that deal with off-grid living and homestead living. You can go check it out at the HomesteadNetwork.com. Click on their show times to find all kinds of amazing other channels. Here at the American Homestead, we talk about homesteading, off-grid living, preparedness, gardening, livestock and chickens, alternative energy, and food preservation. Have a big list of news items tonight to talk about, as well as things going around on our homestead. So we'll just go ahead and get into it. Oh, wait a minute. Hit the music stop and replay. So with me as always is Jamie. How you doing? Good. And I didn't make coffee tonight. It was just too hot.
Really?
It was too hot. I couldn't do it.
It was hotter last night.
Well, we weren't on the air last night, and I did have coffee, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm just not doing it tonight. I have a glass of water here. I'm good. I'll be fine. Just gonna stay hydrated. I love coffee when we do the show, and even if it's not caffeinated, it's just something I feel like I have to have, but I'm not going to do it tonight. So anyway, this show is sponsored by GasSpouts.com. Our sponsor graciously is giving all of our audience an amazing 20% off discount code now until at least, I say when. So 20% off. If you have one of those frustrating Walmart or Target or China Mart or whatever Mart gas cans that pour, they're like not only child-proof, but they're adult-proof, this is your option. You can go to GasSpouts.com, and they have these amazing, made in the USA, American gas spouts that will not give you trouble when you want to pour gas out of a gas can. And they're not very expensive, and plus they're giving you, as a listener, 20% off. They're our sponsors, and we're going to be doing a giveaway this week on the YouTube channel and Steemit. You'll have to stay tuned. The video will come out hopefully tomorrow, and you'll see how you can win one of these gas spouts very easily. But if you want to just go ahead and buy some, we had 5 more show up on the homestead this week because I'm replacing all of the gas cans that we have, or at least most of them, with these gas spouts. And you can always switch them out. When you can always switch them out and change them out very easily if you want to put them on a different gas can. So. Great thing to have around the homestead. The coupon code is 20. It's AAH20off.com. Or no, I'm sorry. AAH20off. That's the coupon code. Capital A, capital A, capital H, 20 off. And it'll get you 20% off your order at their website. So they're our sponsors, GasSpouts.com. Go ahead and check them out. Again, we'll be doing a giveaway on the YouTube channel this week to give away to somebody. And we're going to make sure we just don't pull it out of a hat so someone doesn't get a gas spout that they don't need. Like if you live in an apartment somewhere or you don't have a gas can, you're going to have to let me know that you want this, and the details will come out tomorrow. So thank you to Gas Spouts. Let's see what else we got over here. So... what did we do this week?
What did we do? You always ask me this. It's my least favorite question.
Well, I have something. I always write things down because I just want to see what's going on in her mind. You should always expect it to have some answers ready.
I know, but I don't. The
raspberries are coming in. We've been eating raspberries. You had one of those the other day, didn't you?
Yeah. They
were good. And so the red raspberries, and this variety of red raspberry will produce all summer long and into the fall. So it's a really cool raspberry. I really like it. It's not just one of these like wild raspberries that produce for 2 weeks and then it's completely done. No, these produce all summer long and into the fall. And so they're coming in, and the blackberries are not far behind. Our cultivated blackberries, the homestead blackberries, the wild blackberries on the homestead are not far behind. They're turning colors right now. Mm-hmm. We just really need some rain.
I found a couple of them.
Did you? They were black already?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we ate some the other day when we went on a walk. The boys and I had some.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you guys went on a walk.
Well, yeah, when we went down to the neighbor.
Oh, okay. Well, they are coming in, and so we just need a good rain because it hasn't rained here in like 2 weeks. It rained a little bit this morning. It was kind of a drizzle type thing, but we need a good rain. And supposedly the rainstorm's going to hit tonight. And so I'd like it to get a good, I mean, the sugarcane, sorghum need it, and the garden needs it, and the blackberries need it, both the cultivated and the wild. And so, that's just really what comes. If the rain keeps coming, the fruit does well. That's just how it works. So,
we got our cucumbers. We got some cucumbers from the garden.
Yeah, we got our first cucumbers yesterday from the garden.
Did I tell you this? That I took Caleb out to the garden and, well, I was picking lettuce and he came with me. He always likes to pick things with me. Caleb is 4, and he started trying to recognize the plants. Like, he's so curious. He wanted to know every single plant and what it produced. And so we walked all around the garden, and I showed him the different kinds of squash, and we found the cucumbers. He was most enthralled by the cucumbers because he could see the itty-bitty little, like, 1/4-inch size cucumbers with the flower not yet even fallen off. And he was really, really enthralled by that.
Yeah, it's amazing, even when as an adult to see all these things growing.
Well, when you brought cucumbers, because I told him, I said, give them a few more days. We'll probably, because they grow really fast. And so, lo and behold, you brought some yesterday. And I don't know if you noticed, but he was really excited because he remembered that.
Yeah, I didn't see him get excited about it.
Yeah, he remembered that the cucumbers were babies, and now he reminded me of it. Oh, yeah, now they're not babies anymore. So it's cool. I love seeing that stuff with little kids.
Yeah, that's something most kids will never get to experience.
That's what I told him. I said, I didn't know all this when I was your age. I had no idea how cucumbers grew.
Kids today are deprived. Yeah. But anyway, so we got, the stuff growing. We got our first cucumbers. I'm having potato problems. So Shalom Acres was here today. They spent the day with us over at the homestead. First time them visiting our homestead. I've been to their homestead a few times. And I told them, I'm having potato problems. So I was digging up my potatoes the other day, just checking them out and seeing them. And because I was really concerned because a lot of my potatoes didn't go to flower, like most years they do. And the plants started dying back, which is normal for this time of year, but it just wasn't the same. Something was wrong. So I started digging them up. And lo and behold, a lot of the potatoes, they were growing. All the potatoes are really small. They're not big at all. And they are getting chewed up by mice. And so, or mice or moles or something is chewing them and having their way with them. So I was talking to Chris over at Shalom Acres when he was here, and he said, listen, man, if I was you, here's what I would do. I would dig up those potatoes. And so we decided this. We're going to dig up the potatoes, and we're going to plant them in the row that will not grow. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go watch my tomato cages video that I put up the other day. We're going to put them in the row that will not grow and cover them with some soil, some dirt, and then let those grow there. And then what we'll do is I'll plant, what did I say I was going to? Oh, the pinto beans. The pinto beans that I had tried before to grow in the row that will not grow. I got some new pinto bean seeds. And he says, oh, yeah, you got plenty of time to plant pinto beans, so we'll plant pinto beans where the potatoes are.
Okay. I love pinto beans.
Yeah. So
I need to can more pinto beans. We've been through them all already.
Yeah, we love beans. We love pinto beans. We love refried beans and stuff like that. So we use it a lot on our meals. So we want to grow our own. So we're going to grow them this year. And so I think I'm going to put them in the potato patch area. And, I had read a long time ago, someone, a couple places told, when you read about potatoes, they tell you this off and on. They'll tell you, don't grow potatoes in the same year every year. But I know people around here.
Same place.
Oh, the same place every year. Same place every year. Don't grow them in the same place every year. But I know people around here who grow them in the same place every year and they have no problem. So I just tossed it up. And I only read it in a few places. But I tossed it up as, it's fine. But I'm thinking maybe it's because a lot of times the mice and the moles figure out where your potatoes are at, where your root crops are at, and they come in and they just annihilate. And they eat all your root crops and and things like that. So maybe that's why you don't put them in the same place every year. I don't know. I'm just saying that this year they didn't get very big, and the plants were eaten by rodents. So that's kind of where we're at. And we'll get to the comments. If you have any insight on this, we'll get to comments after the show. We usually get about the last 15 or 20 minutes, we go to comments. And you can, if you have some insight on why you don't plant potatoes in the same spot every year. Up until this year, it's been great. I've been planting in the same spot every year, no problem. I get giant potatoes. But this year, I have rodents that are getting in, and the potatoes aren't getting to be very big because they're being eaten. So anyway, that's kind of where it's at. And the plants just aren't very healthy, so we're going to do that. The Japanese turnips, a lot of people asked about the Japanese turnips after we did that video with the tomato cages, and they weren't seeds, so we're going to sell seeds. So my Japanese turnips, I love them. They taste so good, but they're starting to turn bitter because of the heat. The summer heat is turning them bitter, and so they're not very good anymore. They're definitely not sweet anymore. They're very bitter. And so we're going to let all of the ones I'm growing grow to seed, and we're going to sell that to you guys. We'll offer them on the website at AmericanHomestead.com, and you can buy those seeds along with some of our other seeds that we're selling there. The achachas are coming up like crazy on the arbor. I got to do a video about that this week. I got to start getting those twined up. They're growing like crazy. And so the popolo too is growing like crazy. I had a couple people email me this year and say, hey, my popolo's not growing. I couldn't get it to sprout. What's wrong? I don't know what's wrong. All I know is that you keep the ground moist. You keep them watered. You keep them wet. Go out there, water them in the morning, water them in the evening, and they will sprout. I've never had a problem. I've saved my own seed every year, and then I sell the same seed that I'm growing to you people. So it works for me. But if you want the achacha or the popolo, it's still not too late to grab those seeds on our website. There's still some achacha available, very little. We're almost out of the achacha, but we have lots of popolo seed left. If you want popolo, if you like cilantro, if you like eating cilantro in the middle of summer when your tomatoes are coming in and your cilantro is long gone, you want popolo. So because your cilantro won't make it through the summer, but popolo tastes pretty much just like cilantro, and it's from South America. So those seeds are available right now on the website. And then the Peach Pickin' Paradise. I don't think the baby golds are going to be available.
You mean all season?
Well, no,
right
not
now?
right now.
Yeah, I didn't think they
so
would. So
what's the other variety that we had that we wanted?
Well,
it was baby gold, and what's the other one?
That was the July Prince. But I don't think that would be available right now either.
No.
We're going to have to figure out which variety will be available.
I say we go in July again. Didn't we go out and do that last year?
I'm trying to think what month we went. We might have even gone at the beginning of August.
We have to go back and look at the video. Folks, we're going to do a trip to Peach Pickin' Paradise. You can find them on Facebook. Peach Pickin' Paradise. We'll probably do it sometime in July. We'll harvest a bunch of peaches, and then we will can them. And you are more than welcome to meet us at the Peach Pickin' Paradise and pick a
pack of pickled peaches.
Pick some peaches with us. So if you're interested in doing that, we're going to be going to the Peach Pickin' Paradise. And I believe it's in, I don't know. Just Google it or Facebook it. Peach Pickin' Paradise. Yeah, it's in Arkansas, somewhere. But I don't know. I don't know where the town is. But you'll find it if you Facebook it.
We found it. You can find it too.
Yeah, you'll find it. And then Jamie, be coming out this week, probably this week, your first Steemit article.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about that?
Well, I guess if you want me to.
It's kind of cool because, you make the point. Steem runs, Steem is run by Steem.
Steem is run by Steem in real life.
Right.
Real life Steem. Steem under pressure.
Right.
Steem under pressure does lots of amazing things. I just made the point that I think it's really weird and kind of coincidental, and maybe the creators had this intention all along, or maybe they didn't, who knows. But I just think it's funny that this new kind of thing in the technological world is run by Steem in the real world, because Steem in the real world creates electricity.
Right.
The steam engine powered the Industrial Revolution, which, if you know, changed our way of life as we know it. Electricity was the end result. Lots and lots and lots of production, and everything that you have has basically a product of some factory somewhere. We live off grid, but everything around us is possible. I mean, you can't live in this world. I'm a better writer than I am speaker, but we can't live in this world without steam. So I made the point that steam under pressure was the first technological development.
Right.
And now we have steam in, I don't know, I still can't really completely wrap my head around this steam with an E instead of an A. Zach can explain it a lot better than me.
Well, I just thought it was a good article because, whether it's nuclear power, it's steam. Whether it's coal power, it's steam. I think there's some dams that run on hydropower, water movement. I'm not sure how that works, if that's steam or not.
Technically, all it is just water has to be heated.
Right.
And in the process of heating it
turns turbines.
Produces the steam, which turns the turbines, which
makes
charges
electricity.
The electrical generators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all run by steam. It's just really cool, the correlation between the two. I don't know, guys. I really like this new Steemit platform, and I'm really liking being over there. I think it's a good outlet. And for people who say Facebook and YouTube are never going away, they said the same thing about MySpace, and MySpace is long gone.
MySpace, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, remember? MySpace?
Yeah, that was the big thing. That was the first big one.
MySpace, yeah. See, there's always, those things, empires rise and fall. And when you're at the height of an empire, people think it's indestructible. It can never be sunk. The Titanic will never sink. And, America will never fall. It's the same way with everything. But history tells you that's wrong. That's the wrong way of thinking. And there's always something new coming up. And
hindsight is 20/20.
Right. Well, we know that now by looking, back. So you can't look at anything today and say this is going to be forever, because it's just not. And the reality is, YouTube is making a lot of people angry, and they're moving on. So I was looking at Hitchcock45 today, and his channel, he's like the number one gun channel, I think, on YouTube. He's got 2.6 million subscribers. When it comes to gun reviews, he doesn't monetize any of his videos anymore. Simply for the fact that YouTube basically demonetizes everything for him, so he doesn't do it. He posts over at Full30. He made the move over to Full30.com to post his videos. He still posts on YouTube, but he also posts on Full30.com. And he gets paid for posting over at Full30. Plus, he has Bud's Gun Shop. He has sponsors. When you have 2.8 million subscribers, you can get sponsors and make money no matter what. But it's just that's the reality we live in today, folks. And I won't be censored. So we're having a good time over at Steemit and liking it, and we're making money with it, and we're reaching our subscribers, and I don't have to worry about censoring myself. So we're gonna have lots of cool things coming out there. Jamie's first article will be up this week. You can read it over there at steemit.com, and link to our Steemit page is in the description below. So check it out this week. Sometime this week it'll be up. Our first article for tonight, I think you're going to like this one, 9 Ways to Survive Off-Grid Without Air Conditioning, just like our ancestors did.
Did I write that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I found it online. 9 ways to survive off-grid without air conditioning, just like our ancestors did.
Emphasis on ancestors.
Mm-hmm. You see, that wasn't so long ago. Most of our parents probably, either went to school without air conditioning or lived without air conditioning in their homes at some point. See, air conditioning is relatively a new invention.
It's less than 50 years. It's staggering the amount of people that have gotten it in 50 years' time.
Yeah.
And
you can almost make the point. We should research that. Never has there ever been a faster adoption of any technology before.
Well, I don't know if we could prove that.
I mean, someone has to have access to that data.
Anyway, but yeah, I made the point in that article. I wrote an air conditioning article for the Molly Green magazine, and that's the point I made. 50 years.
Uh-huh. It's not a lot of time.
I didn't have air conditioning growing up, and neither did you.
Nope.
for a long time. And they didn't have air conditionings in schools and many public buildings.
Nope.
But now imagine walking into a public building today.
And not having air conditioning.
I mean, I'm only 40 years old, but
The PTA would be going nuts.
When I went to college in the late 90s, they didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
It was in California.
So the article is over at offthegridnews.com. You can find links in the description below. See, folks, when we discuss articles with you, we give you links to the article in the description so that you can follow along with us. And this link is to offthegridnews.com, and it's called 9 Ways to Survive without off-grid without air conditioning, just like our ancestors did. And the first thing you see is a picture of a bunch of kids, probably, 1920s, 1930s, licking some blocks of ice in the street. That was like, a thing that they were doing. They were licking blocks of ice in the street. And I'm looking at the store front behind. It says fancy, cheap groceries, milk, butter, cheese, fruits, and vegetables. I would love to go in there today.
Licking the blocks of ice. That's so funny.
Yeah, they're
that's
licking.
So kid, like.
Yeah.
Kids never change.
The article begins, it's common to talk about keeping warm as a part of survival, but few people actually bother to talk about keeping cool. Yet for those of us who live in the South, keeping cool in the summertime can be as much of a survival issue as keeping warm in our is for our northern cousins. We solved that problem in true American fashion by staying indoors and keeping our home, places of business, and even cars air conditioned. But what about when the power goes out?
I entirely disagree with that.
What? We solved the
It's
problem?
as much a part of survival as it is for our northern.
Well,
I completely disagree.
Okay, right. I mean, yeah, cold will kill you. Heat will kill you. Heat stroke if you're out in it and you're working.
Yeah, but if you stay hydrated in the shade, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But you're going to freeze in your house without a fire in the north. Like, it's going to get below freezing.
Yeah, you'll die. So what about, it says, continues on, but what about when the power goes out? What can we do then? Air conditioning consumes a lot of electricity to operate, so without electrical power, we have no readily available means of cooling, or do we? After all, our ancestors survived this sort of climate, so if they could do it, we should be able to do it too. The trick, as with many other parts of urban survival, is to look how our ancestors did things a century or two ago and figure out how to adapt to our modern day lives. So the first one they have is stay in the shade, which you mentioned already. Stay in the shade, and when it comes to work on this homestead.
Rocket science. I mean.
I know, it's simple. But,
Listen, you guys, I'm being honest. Can I be honest?
Yes.
I don't like off the grid.
Wait,
news.
this is YouTube. How honest are you going to be?
Oh, it's going on YouTube?
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
don't care. I don't like off the grid news. I think their articles are completely obvious. I think that
They're fun articles.
Okay.
Well, of course they're obvious, but you know what? Most people in the city do not know this. They would not get
Oh,
this.
everybody knows to stay in the shade.
No, they don't.
Yes, they
mean,
do. They're not going to stand out in the sun for the heck of it.
When I was in St. Louis, they had people, they would put out all news bulletins when it would get above 90 to make sure you stayed indoors if you were elderly and to check on the elderly during times of heat. And because people didn't know this stuff. They just don't. Yes, people really are that,
I don't think
stupid.
You're going to find shade.
So they had places where you could go to get free fans, at like shelters and stuff like that for elderly and people with kids or whatever, just to make sure they had fans. So anyway, here's the deal. Number one, stay in the shade. That's the first thing they tell you to do. So that's what we do here on this homestead. We stay inside a lot of times. We have all the windows open. We have lots of windows in the house, and we're inside, during the hottest parts of the day, or we're down at the creek. But that's the first one. Stay in the shade. Easy. And, some of our friends and neighbors, whatever, they have their houses more in the woods, whereas we're more exposed. If you go down to the woods, down the mountain to where they live, it's a lot cooler down in those woods.
At least 5 or 10 degrees.
Absolutely. So, it works. Stay in the shade. But number two, it's use fans. So sweating is the body's natural means of shedding excess heat. When the sweat evaporates, it absorbs large amounts of heat from our bodies, cooling us. Wind in any form helps to improve that cooling process by speeding up the evaporation process. So use fans. We don't really use a lot of fans around here because it requires electricity, and we don't want to plug them in and use our limited electricity
We've
that
been
we
in
have.
really nice breeze every
I
now and
mean,
then.
we're on a mountaintop, so we get pretty good breezes up here.
I mean, not constantly, but
For a lot of
we
times we
get
do.
some nice. We are fond of saying, Joshua and I, Caleb's picked up on it too. So you'll hear us whenever. It's kind of silly. But they both do it with my inflection. Oh, that's a nice breeze. Oh, sorry, I just think it's funny.
Number 3, this is the one we take advantage of the most this time of year, is go for a swim. So it says, of course, the other advantage of those seaside homes was the ability to go for a swim anytime you wanted to cool off. Water absorbs heat from our bodies faster than air does, especially already hot air. The cool water will cool your body off, and then you can get a bonus from the wind when you climb out of the water all wet. This is why building a swimming pool behind a home is such a popular addition for those who can afford it. But see, today, most people, they build pools, but they're all air-conditioned homes anyway. I mean, it would make sense if you had a pool in the backyard and you didn't have an air-conditioned home.
Yeah, it's purely recreation.
Yeah. So it says this is why. Few of those people have ever used their swimming pools to swim laps. Rather, they use them as a quick and easy means to escaping the heat. I mean, but if they have air-conditioned homes, what are you escaping?
Right. Well, that's why I say it's purely recreation.
For us, ladies and gentlemen, we go down to the creek. So
it's a necessity.
Yeah. It's 20 minutes away down the dirt road, and we just drive down to the creek and we sit in the cool water. It's spring fed, and we sit there.
But here's the thing: you're talking like we do it just. But see, we work really hard all day. We get everything that we need to do done. Canning, harvesting, whatever we're doing that day, we get it all done. I usually have dinner fixed and ready so that it's ready when we get home. And usually about 4 o'clock, we head down to the creek. And we've put in a hard day's work, so it's not like we're going down and sitting in the water all day.
Chances are, when we get back, we're going to maybe do some more work anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
I probably will.
Well, usually I'll have to get dinner on and clean up and all that kind of stuff left to do. But still, I just don't want people to think we just go down and sit in the water all day just to keep cool. We don't do that.
Yeah. No, but, the thing is, it's like during the hottest parts of the day, between 3 and 5 o'clock, I mean, it's, you get, and that's why the Mexicans did the siesta. You hear about siesta, and they would sleep, take a nap, find somewhere shady that's cool and take a nap, just relax until the hottest part of the day is over, and then you go back to work. That's what you do. You work in the morning when it's cool, and then you take a break. It's the siesta, and then you go out and you work again as the sun's going down, because the sun takes, by 5 or 6 o'clock, the sun's starting to go behind the trees a little bit, and then you can start working some more. And so it's just, what people did. So number 4, have a cold drink. This one is so basic that we do it without even thinking. Entire industries have been created around the idea of people giving something cool to drink when they are hot.
I don't agree with that either.
Really?
No.
Why?
No. They've proved scientifically that drinking a cold beverage, especially really, really cold with lots of ice, pulls energy out. It creates energy in your body.
Right. Okay.
So that your body is actually
Right.
having to use
Right.
more energy, which heats up your body even more. It may feel good, it may taste good, but in reality, you're better off drinking
lukewarm or just
room temperature water and staying hydrated that way.
Oh, you're taking away my ice cold lemonade.
Sorry. I know you enjoy it. I just don't, and it's fine to enjoy it. I just think it's not an efficient way of staying cool.
Okay. Well, another one for off the grid news. Number 5, go underground.
I agree with that.
Okay. Well, thank goodness. One of the easiest ways of keeping cool in hot weather is to go underground, it says. It doesn't matter what the above ground temperature is, it will be cooler beneath the surface. For that matter, it will get cooler and cooler the farther underground you go. People who have had natural caves on their property were considered to be fortunate. Not only would they use those caves as a means of escaping the heat themselves, they would use them as natural root cellars, taking advantage of the natural refrigeration that nature offered. So there's a lot of people in our area, too, who have these natural root cellars. They use them quite often, even today. It's something that people do use back then and today still. So it's not just back a long time ago. Number 6, high ceilings and second floors. It says basic physics tells us that heat rises, so giving it a place to rise helps. That's why the ceilings in antebellum mansions are high. As the heat rose, the space between it was kept cooler. Granted, it was only a few degrees cooler, but it stayed that way for many hours, even into the heat of the afternoon. It says cathedral ceilings do the same thing. That's why those mansions always had a grand entryway with a wide staircase leading upstairs. While it was great for impressing visitors, it also gave the hot air some place to go besides bothering people in the living spaces of their homes. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we see that a lot in the old South homes, mansions and stuff.
Yeah, but,
Homes of the South.
everybody wasn't rich.
Well, right. Yeah, exactly. So
somehow the not rich people survived as well.
Yeah, they may do. Number 7, careful selection of building materials. We've looked at several ways that building of homes was planned to take advantage of whatever cool air was available. But what we've done here in the United States can't hold a candle up to the homes of Latin America. Mexicans and Latinos learned long ago that a home with the thick walls worked extremely well to keep out the heat of the day. The walls would also radiate off whatever heat they had during the nighttime so that they could absorb the heat during the day. Thus, the adobe home was invented. Around here, I've talked to some people in the woodworking, mill when we got the sawmill. The guy Bob, some of you guys have met him on that Patreon video we did. Bob told me that what they would do, he's built a couple homes in his lifetime here in the Ozarks. And in the Ozarks, because it's the South, high humidity, they would use green, white oak to build houses. Green, white oak. They never used aged or dried oak. They always used green oak. And he says the reason for that is because it would shrink and it would allow the home to breathe. So that in the summertime, because the summer was the big deal, because it doesn't get really cold down here. It gets cold here, but not like up Minnesota and Chicago and, some of those places, Wisconsin.
It's cold enough for me.
Well, but it's not near like you're talking about somebody's going to freeze to death in their house, like up in Wisconsin.
I agree. You're not going to freeze to death.
So you had these homes that were breathable homes with all kinds of cracks in them, and, that allowed the air to breathe through the house, and it kept the house much cooler in the summertime. And so all the homes built in the Ozarks back 100 years ago, and, not even that far back, were built with green, white oak so that they would shrink and it would be a very porous house. And then in the wintertime, you just crowded around and slept near the wood fire, the wood stove. So that's how they did it. Number 8, learn to use the cool of the day. It says the Bible tells us that Adam walked with God in the cool of the day. You don't really understand this until you have lived in a hot climate. It's easy to make the mistake of thinking that this is referring to the evening when the sun is going down and the day starts to cool off. But for those of us who chase cool weather, the coolest part of the day is early in the morning. That's so true. It says before the sun starts heating things up, if I have to do anything outside in the summertime, I get up early in the morning to do it before the day has a chance to heat up. That way, I can do the work while it's easier for my body to take it. Then, when it's hot, I can stay in the cool house hiding from the heat. That's exactly what the animals do, too.
Yeah, it's true. I
mean, you go out there, and the last couple of days, I had to do some work out there in the woods and stuff, and you get it done in the morning, and by time lunch is around, I'm done. I'm not going outside anymore until the evening.
I feel stupid for not knowing this, but it's something that you don't even really realize when you live a city life. You don't think about what time the temperature is the coldest. And it works this way in winter, too.
Right.
The coldest part of the day is always right before sunrise. Duh. Because as soon as the sun comes up, it starts heating up the earth. Again, duh. But I never thought about that before. I never had to.
Number 9, lastly and not least, says store a little bit of frozen lake. Finally, anyone who has little girls is bound to remember the opening scene of the movie when the ice cutters are on the lake, cutting ice blocks to store in the ice house. Is he talking about Little House on the Prairie? Some ice houses were built above ground, but the best were always underground where it was naturally cooler. A well-run ice house would gather ice all winter, storing it up and insulating it with straw. And then in warmer times, those ice cutters would load up their clothes in insulated wagons and go house to house selling ice for the people to use in ice boxes. While that technology may seem arcane today, were we to suddenly lose all electric power, that would be the only refrigeration available to us. Those of us in the South will be jealous of our northern cousins who had refrigeration available to them in the form of ice boxes. Well, what we're getting ready to do, is turn a freezer, open up drop freezer, powered by solar power. So we're gonna make a solar powered freezer.
Well, we're not going to make the freezer.
Well, right, but the freezers.
But we're going to power it.
We're gonna power with solar.
Yeah. Okay.
So electricity goes out, we still have refrigeration and freezing ability. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get some good batteries. We're gonna get the AGMs. Very pricey, but worth it. Totally worth it. So anyway, we'll do videos on that.
We're gonna be in the big time. We're gonna have refrigeration.
Oh my goodness. It's been we haven't had refrigeration really in 5 years, so we're really about 5 years. So anyway, that's the first article. It's 9 ways to survive off grid without air conditioning. Link in the description below. Let me hop on over to the second one real quick. And we'll go to this one here. It says a farmer faces $2.8 million fine after he bought 450 acres of land and began plowing it. This was published June 15, 2017, just 2 days ago. I believe on Friday or Thursday, what that was. And it's about a farmer. A farmer faces trial in federal court this summer and a $2.8 million fine for failing to get a permit to plow his own field and plant wheat in Tahoma County. A lawyer for Duarte Nursery said the case is important because it can set a precedent requiring other farmers to obtain costly, time-consuming permits just to plow their fields. And, really, does that apply to all farmers or anybody who has even a piece of land? If you turn soil over, do you have to get a permit to turn soil over? Because that's what these people are actually doing. It continues, the case is the first time that we're aware of that says you need to get a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers permit to plow to grow crops, said Anthony Francis, attorney for the Pacific Legal Foundation. We're not going to produce much food under those kinds of regulations, he says. However, U.S. District Judge Kimberly Mueller agreed with the U.S. Army Corps in a judgment issued in June 2016, a penalty trial in which the U.S. Attorney's Office asked for $2.8 million in civil penalties. This is set for August, I guess, for the hearing. Francis contends that farmers are exempt from the Clean Water Act rules when they plow, and the government disagrees. So it says, even under the farming exemption, a discharge of dredged or fill material incidental to the farming activities that impairs the flow of waters to the United States still requires a permit because it changes the chemical, physical, and biological integrity of the waters, the U.S. Attorney wrote in the court documents. The government wants Duarte to repair the wetlands and replant certain plants. And so he says a plain reading of the rules says you don't need a permit to do what he did. Francis told the Record Spotlight, which is the reporting news agency, how do you impose a multi-million-dollar penalty on someone for thinking the law says what it says? So this is going to have a showdown in court. And really, it can apply to everyone. See, if they can say for one farmer to plow your field, because really what this is, it's the runoff. When you turn that soil over, that soil can have runoff, which runs into U.S. waterways, which change the waterways, and then that farmer can be under penalty for changing the U.S. waterways, the makeup of the waterways, because now there's runoff from the field because he turned over the soil. Well, that can apply to Aunt Margaret and her rose garden, because she turns over soil, it rains, and the water pushes that ground soil into the U.S. waterways. Aunt Margaret, with her rose bushes, has just altered U.S. waterways and can be, held and fined by U.S. authorities for violating U.S. Army Corps of Engineer protocol or rules. So I mean, this can affect everyone if this is upheld. It's just complete insanity that our world has turned upside down. It's just turned upside down. So anyway, article, link in the description below. Check it out. Share it on Facebook. We're going to share it on Facebook this week to help it get some more traction. It's an important article, and people need to get angry about it because we're going nuts. The last one here real quick before we get over to the, and I'm not going to read this article, but it's just a quick video. It's a video, how to make a rain barrel. Folks, it's summertime, and we're quickly approaching the time when the rains begin to dry up a little bit, and you may want to have some water storage for your homestead, for your garden. And this is a great way. You can go out today, watch this video, go to Home Depot, get the things you need, and make some rain catchment, some water storage for your garden, for your home. And because, you don't want to be in the middle of August having gone through a full month of no rain and need water for your garden. you just need, if the water got turned off, they'll have a way to have maybe 100 gallons or so of water to store up for your garden should you need it. So great article, link in the description below. It's over at goodhomedesign.com. It includes a video. You can watch it and see how easy it is to make a simple do-it-yourself rain barrel, okay? And then link a couple of them together even. So, all right, heading over to the chat room. What's going over at the chat room? There's 117 people online. Folks, hit that link, that thumbs up button, and the subscribe button if you haven't done that already. Really appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up. And if you have a question, please put it in all caps, so that we see it. If we do not get to your question, you can keep reposting it, and we will try to get to it, unless it's a completely obnoxious question, and then I'm just going to keep ignoring you. But I may not. We'll see. Okay. And the mods. So please tip the mods. I wish I could do that. Please tip the mods. They work for free, and they do a great job. They help keep control of all the hooligans that come into the chat room. So thank you mods for that. And we got to figure out a way to reward our mods one day here. How much land do you graze your cow on? Right now, she's on 3/4 of an acre. We're going to be expanding that as soon as we get the dozer. I'm working on the dozer. I just ordered a part from Canada. It's a track loader, okay? Track loader, dozer, whatever. It's a track loader. It's a D7, and I had to get a part for it. And so I was trying to put the pump back in that needed to be worked on. I'm going to do a video on it this week probably. And I had to find the part. I had to order it from Canada. It's on its way. Hopefully it won't sit in customs for too long, and I can get this thing up and running. And so that's kind of where we're at with that. We've got to get this dozer. As soon as I get this dozer running, this track loader running, we will be clearing some more land for our sheep and for our cow, and expanding the pasture land areas and getting them on some new pasture and doing some fencing to get them a whole bunch more feeding areas. But we'll talk about that in upcoming videos. What kind of hay do you feed your sheep and cow in the winter? It's a mixture of Bermuda and fescue. A lot of fescue is in there, and so it's pretty good hay. It's pretty good hay. It doesn't have a lot of other stuff in it, and then we do alfalfa pellets as well for the sheep and for the cow. They seem to enjoy that. But yeah. Let's see. Talk a bit about Steam. Well, here's another one. Ours says, do you have any idea when the Steemit video platform will be up? I don't know. It's called SteamQ. You can go there right now, steamq.com, steamq.com. And so check it out. It's coming. I don't know when it's coming, but you can sign up early to be notified, and then start uploading your videos beforehand. I have already registered, and I've told the guy who's doing it, one of the head developers, that I am all ready for this to get launched. And so SteamQ, it's completely free to use. Okay, it's not going to cost you a dime to watch our videos over there. Okay, it doesn't cost you a dime to watch our videos on Steemit. It's all free, And so Roxanne says, I will only watch you on YouTube. Okay, but the problem is, Roxanne, YouTube does not like us, and so I have, if you want to stay on YouTube, that's fine. But they don't like us. They do not like people who put out articles or some topics that we put out. Hickok45, again, does not monetize any of his videos anymore. Why? Because YouTube demonetizes him. Why put out a video if you're not going to make any money? Why am I going to spend all this time editing, paying money for the, for the audio music I use and all this stuff to do, and then not make any money on it? I want to make something on it. It's not all about the money, but I want to get something for it. So YouTube will not monetize, Hickok45, and so he doesn't monetize anything anymore. Let's see. What kind of fencing do you use? I don't know what the name of the fence. It's some kind of welded fence wire. I'm not sure, but we're going to use 48-inch high wire. Fencing, and then it's usually 2 strands of barbed wire on top. 2 strands of barbed wire on top. Let's see. Zach said, Greenacre Home says, Zach, it's actually negative cost when you factor in that consumers can get paid. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I just know that, yeah, Steemit pays people to post content if it's good content, and they let the community decide the value. And that, my friends, is brilliant. You know, so it pays you to tell people how valuable. It's a curation fee they give you, and it's generated. You know, that's how the currency is generated on the blockchain. It's not a company. It's decentralized. There's no one person, you know, calling all the shots with the Steem blockchain. Okay, Steemit is just an app that runs on the blockchain. So imagine you have a computer, you have a cell phone, and you have different apps that run on that, or programs that run on that cell phone or computer. Steem is the computer. Steemit is an app. SteamQ is an app. Steemit Chat is an app. Steam Jobs or Steam Gigs is an app. So they have all these different apps that run on the blockchain called Steem. That simple. I went to Steel, but I had to not see the videos. Not sure what you're talking. Okay, so John Wiles says soil.
I went to Steam probably.
I went to Steam, but I had.
It probably means.
Well, our link is in the description below. You can find our link there. Tawana says, how do we change YouTube? You can't change YouTube because it's run by a group of people that you're never going to be able to get to, and they don't care what you think. They're going to do what's in their best interest. And so there's no changing YouTube. Let's see. But you got to fund it. Hulagu Khan says, but you got to fund it somehow, right? Well, see, that's how Bitcoin is so valuable, because it can't be manipulated. Bitcoin is valuable because it can't be manipulated. Bitcoin is generated into existence by computers solving mathematical equations. As the math problems get harder and harder to solve, each time a math problem is solved, a Bitcoin is generated. But each time the math problem gets harder and harder to solve, and so it's harder and harder to get more Bitcoins. And so once it reaches a certain point, no more Bitcoins will be created. That's it. It's done. You know, and then the Bitcoins just get subdivided into oblivion. But that maintains its value. Steem is created by people generating content, not math problems. So as you generate content and the community as a whole puts value on that content, Steem is created in the blockchain. And thus is how it goes. It's amazingly decentralized. It's amazingly brilliant, and blockchain technology is not going anywhere, my friends. So many, our government hates it. The banks hate it, but other governments and other businesses are seeing the brilliance of this and are running with it. It ain't going away. It ain't going away. I just explained D3ADP001. Where does Steemit get its money to pay content providers? The blockchain produces the funding based on the content you produce. It's that simple. It's easy. It's brilliant. It's the same way Bitcoin creates, except Bitcoin creates it in mathematical equations, and basically math problems. As the math problem gets solved, Bitcoin is created. And it's finite. There is an unlimited. It cannot be manipulated. Do you have dogs? If so, what breed mix have you found that works well for you? I don't have dogs. If I did have a dog, I would have a sheep or breed, probably like what's the other one? What's the sheep breed that Heidi has?
I don't know.
I forget the name. Oh, Great Pyrenees. Yeah, I would have a Great Pyrenees. If I had a dog, it'd be a Great Pyrenees for sure. That would be my dog of choice, because they're good sheep dogs. They're good with kids. They're good family dogs. The only problem is, the reason I don't have dogs, folks, is there are a lot of neighbors here also with dogs, and we don't need them to be running around right now. We'll stay with, if we expand our fencing area and our pasture land like I want to do, we're going to get another donkey to protect the animals. So the donkeys will run the show here on the homestead, because all of our other neighbors have dogs. I don't want dogs. There's too many dogs already. And all they're going to do is fight and mate, and it's just a mess, and bark. Even if you train them, I just don't. And there's coyotes out there always running around the perimeter, which drives Great Pyrenees nuts. So what I want to do is just have a donkey, and the donkey will kick everybody's butt and keep everybody in line and everyone off the property. So I'll have a donkey. We'll go back to a donkey. Let's see. Have you used neem oil on the raspberries yet? I think it might be damaging ours, but I'm not sure. Lauren Turner. I only use neem oil on the things that I know the bugs go after. So very shortly, I'll be using neem oil on the blackberries because I know the Japanese beetles go after them. Although we've had a lot less Japanese beetles this year than last year. And maybe it's because I used that milky spore that Danny over at Deep South Homestead recommended. So I put that out as soon as I heard about it, and so maybe it's. I mean, I've only seen a few of them. Last year that we were just swarming with Japanese beetles, and I haven't seen hardly a few but a few this year. So I only use my neem oil on the cabbages, on the zucchini, on some tomato plants if I see a problem. Otherwise, I won't use it at all on tomato plants, and I use them on potatoes. So that's it. Everything else just gets a pass, unless I see there's a problem. If I see there's a problem, well, then I'll do it. But I don't. That's the only thing I really use them on. What microphone do you use? We use a Blue Yeti. It's called a Blue Yeti. You can find them. They're about $120. They're a very good microphone. Could you all do a canning ebook? That's your department.
No. Sorry. I just don't have an interest in doing that.
She's writing. I mean, she is writing like crazy. We're coming out with a book.
You guys, writing recipes just is boring to me. It's just boring. Like, you can go online and you can learn all about canning. There's so many websites you can learn about canning for free. You don't need to learn it from me.
And folks, we know canning and recipe books sell.
Yeah, but they're so boring.
I know. And I know we could make a lot of money selling recipe and canning books because I know they sell. People will buy those recipe books.
I just can't twist my arm to write a recipe book.
I'm not making you do that. I don't think you should. My point is that people will buy those just to buy them so they have them on their shelf.
Yeah,
there's people who just collect recipe books.
But there's so many. You can find any recipe you want today online.
We don't need to be writing recipes. There's so many of them, but people will buy them just to put them in a collection. They'll never even read them. They'll just put them in their collection.
I don't know if they will or not.
They collect them like baseball
cards.
cards.
You can find anything for free online, recipe wise.
Yeah.
You don't need to learn canning from me. If you're interested in learning about canning, I say go to simplycanning.com. Yeah. She has a wealth of information on her website, and she does it a lot better than I would. Because I have no interest in it. When you don't have an interest in doing something, you're not going to do it well. So, yeah. No. Sure answer.
But she is writing. We're doing other things. So, we're writing a book. And we're going to be turning that book into audio. It's going to be video. She's going to narrate the videos, and I'm going to edit them, and we're going to put them out in a series for this book. We haven't decided on a title yet, but
yeah.
So it's coming out. It's Tim a carpenter. He might as well be, right?
Yeah, he might as well be. I mean, he can make a living at it for sure.
Do more on your outdoor kitchen. What do we want to do on our outdoor kitchen? We're going to be doing lots of videos on our outdoor kitchen here pretty quick. I mean, we're getting started. Our produce is going to be coming in here very shortly. Deep South Homestead has already been, they're ahead of us because they're south. They're way farther south than we are. And so they are already, harvesting a lot of food. We're farther north than them, so we have a little ways to go yet, but not much. And so we're going to be doing a lot of canning videos and a lot of other outdoor kitchen videos coming up very soon. How's the turkey hunting in your neck of the woods? I don't know. There's been one time where I looked outside and I saw a flock of 20 turkeys, not more than a stone's throw away from me. And if I had a gun on me at that time, I could have shot one. I had a 9mm on me, but that wouldn't count. I would need like a shotgun or a 22, but I couldn't. So it wasn't even hunting season. So anyway, I saw 20 turkeys. It had to be probably 22 turkeys or so. I counted, and I haven't really seen them since. And that was like 3 years ago. So I haven't even heard them. So that's why we raise our own turkeys. We grow our own turkeys because we love turkey. I love turkey. But we grow our own.
I love physical books too, just not cookbooks. I'm not a cookbook collector. I would rather read. I don't look at cookbooks for fun. It's just not something that I do. I just have the food and I cook it. I don't need a cookbook for it. So
they want to know, how do you split the canning and garden vegetables between your family and Jamie's parents?
Well, my dad takes care of the chickens. You all know that. So Zach takes care of the garden. When the produce is coming in, I usually do a lot of the harvesting and, of course, the preservation. When they have time, they help with the preservation. So it's kind of like a family chore. Although the boys are getting older now, they can do more of that also. But how do we split it? They just get whatever they want whenever they want. I usually do the picking. My mom is not. She doesn't like to go into the garden really. So when I pick something, usually I'll hand some off to her if she wants some. And then they just get whatever canned goods they want.
Mama says, but you like cooking?
Okay. Do I like cooking? I would say yes, I like cooking. I don't dislike cooking, but do I jump up and down and say, yay, I get to cook? No. I think,
She cooks every day.
Cooking's a part of life, and you should know how to do it. And does it inspire me? And there's a lot of other things that inspire me more than cooking, but yeah.
It's something you do every day. It's like,
I just think if you're gonna eat, you gotta cook. So, so I cook. I used to like to cook a lot more than I do now. I think when I was growing up, it was new and interesting, and I liked it. And I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Rock's Corner wants to know: can you use your animals to clear the land for you instead of or with the machine? No. You can. Your animals, goats will help clear a lot of brush out, if you have goats, but they're still not going to clear land, like pull out trees and root stumps and stumps and things like all that. They're not going to be able to do that. So you need a machine to do that. So I need to clear a giant path to our lower pastures, and the only thing that's going to do that is going to be this track loader. So it says red heelers are good shepherd type dogs. I don't really know what a red heeler is. I just know that we're not going to have dogs here.
I've heard of them, but I don't know what they look like.
Yeah. Good places to homestead off-grid, remote, and lower 48. We talked about this last week, so the gardener wants to know, what are good places to homestead? I like the Ozarks. I think Ozarks are great. Is a great place. Joel Skousen wrote a book we talked about last week. I can't remember the name of it now. It was just look up Joel Skousen. I gotta look up this book again. Someone in the comments put the book in there, the title of the book, Joel Skousen's book we talked about last week. But he has a book on places to bug out or relocation or something. Check out that and see what his book says. He has his states ranked in order of what are the best places to live at. So that would be where I would go and check that out. See if there's one more question we can get to before we wrap it up. When is your book launching? I have no idea. We're not really launching a book. We're going to be doing... Strategic Relocation is Joel Skousen's book. Strategic Relocation. But we're going to be doing a video series with a condensed version of the book, and that's going to be taking over the season episodes. So we'll be launching that here at some point soon. I'm not sure when yet, but we're going to start working on it very shortly. But I think you're going to love it. It's going to be narrated by Jamie. I'll edit it, and it'll be up on YouTube and Steemit. And when SteamQ becomes available, it'll be there as well. So that is that. Hey, guys. Really appreciate you coming in, tuning in again this week, and we love you guys, and always good things to talk about, news items, homestead news items, and we like getting to your questions. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done it already. We really appreciate you guys coming around, but just make sure you hit that thumbs up for us, and tell YouTube that you appreciate us being on the air. All right, guys, see you next time on The Homestead.